Number 6, everybody. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all may not be surprised, but I sure am. Everybody, welcome. For those that are returning, I appreciate you listening in. For everybody that is new, welcome to the Drill Pad. Number 6, let's get this thing going. Let's fall in. Everybody, this isn't a boys club anymore. The Drill Pad is open to all, and I want to know about everything. So today's topic, we're on the unarmed side today. So everybody put the weapon down, and let's get this thing going. Today, I want to talk about something bigger than trophies like we always do, because like I said, Drill Pad isn't just about first. It's about the lesson that we bring, right? And today, I think I got one of my most favorite. Today, I want to talk about family, legacy, what it actually takes to build something that will outlast you. Because let's call a spade a spade. A trophy will sit up on the shelf forever and collect dust. But it's the legacies that you leave behind that people will talk about till God knows when. Great example, Rob Zyko, right? This guy is an influence on the world, and people still talk about his solo to this day. I have some boys on the team who think of Rob Zyko as one of the godfathers of drill. How I look at Matt Windling as one of the godfathers of drill. There's a Mount Rushmore there somewhere, people. I would put Matt Windling and Rob Zyko up there for sure. But let's get back to the principle of this thing, right? Drill as family. Someone who's been a part of a real team knows it's not just an activity. It's a family. The kind where people around you shape who you become long after the uniform comes off. There are guys who I still talk with till this day who are so close to me that I would consider them my brother. I'd consider them family. My best friend in the entire world was from the Centurion Guard back in the day. He was my tandem partner. He's at my house probably every other week, if not every week. He has watched my kids grow up. He is an influence on them. He was something more to me than just a friend. He's turned into family. And that was from the drill team. I built that from him. And of course I have others, I'm gonna shout out Chris Haley out there. Freaking, he was one of my little sophomores on the team back in the day, and it's having those guys that have been with me for so long. And granted, do I talk to them every day? No. Do I see them every day? No. But I know that for me, being a Centurion will forever always be my place. And talking about guys looking up to one another, before anybody becomes great at anything, somebody had to believe in them first. And that's true in drill. Drill more than almost anywhere, I would say. Only because that this is an activity that gets passed down. This isn't something where you start in elementary school, you start in middle school, there's little clubs and you play basketball at CYO and you have your parents in the bleachers and all. This isn't anything that you start. This is something that where you pique an interest, you go and try out, and then somebody somewhere, whether it's on the team, whether it's coach to cadet, mentor to mentee, or generation to generation, somebody is out there looking after you, training you, making sure that you are right under that wing of theirs, making sure that you know everything that they can so that way they rise to that next level. That's what I was for my best friend and Chris Haley. That's what I have with some of the boys on the drill team at Sotomayor. And you'll learn that today too as well, that mentorship and the people that have grown with you into this world, into this community, it's those people that you grow up with that they may, how can I say it? These people they'll live quote unquote past you in high school because as we all know, life moves on. This isn't forever. Legacy isn't a banner in the gym. It's not a trophy in a case. Real legacy is invisible. It's in the way someone runs a practice 10 years after they've learned it from you without realizing that they're still doing it your way. I learned talking with Erica that our instructors have placed such a chokehold on how we coach, and the mannerisms we have and the way we drill and the way we coach is all due to them. And she had her coach as well, Juan Espinosa. I'm talking to you, sir, and I hope you're listening because I don't think I've forgotten. I'm coming for you soon. And she preaches, and I remember Juan did such a great job with the girls. I mean, I'm gonna throw a number out there, and Juan, I want you to immediately message me if I'm wrong, but I'm more than confident Juan probably has 10 titles under his belt. And not to outdo what Erica has done, because she has done some amazing things in this world, but to be able to have that kind of mentorship, that kind of leadership, that kind of legacy to where she watched Juan do this, learn. She made her own style, and she left that all behind for her kids, and they are just as successful. That's telling you something. That's telling you that the impressions that you leave that the imprint that we have on who you're teaching, it matters, people. It matters. It is important. The work that you put in with these individuals, with these cadets, mentor to mentee, coach to cadet, whatever it is, it goes a long way, because people will still talk about you till this day. Legacies aren't something that you just hang over a wall, right? And it is the unseen work that everybody sees the championship. Nobody sees the thousands of practices before it, the standard setting, the repetition, the discipline built when no one's watching and there's no trophy on the line yet. It's the practice that you start with, because like I said it before, people will wonder why you're working so hard. And then once you win, they will remind you how lucky you got. But little did they know that they have not seen what hard work looks like. Little did they know the countless of hours that you've put into this thing to be sure that you are absolutely the utmost perfect you can be. Because like I said, we're in a competitive world where you almost have to be perfect. The small slip-ups cannot afford to happen. Granted, no one's perfect. None of the legends I've talked to or Erica, none of us have ever seen a perfect team. It does not exist. So get your head out of a dark place and keep in mind, no one's perfect. We're all human, but it's how you practice before the competition and what you install there is where it starts. Your competition doesn't start on the drill pad. It starts when you're at home. It's just practice. You contain it when you got it. You take control of it when you have it, because you're in a controlled space. The mess ups can happen there. I would rather, personally, me, when I'm telling the Soto boys, I'd rather want you messing up all day at practice. Drop as many times as you can at practice, but once you get onto the pad, we try to be as perfect. And of course, I try to take the edge off and try to make it more relaxed in ways to where they don't have to stress out about it so much. But it's how you practice, how you build towards that championship level, how you practice to get to that championship team that will set you apart. And last but not least, there's the part that nobody prepares you for. Who you are when you have to step away from the thing that you've built. When the whistle stops and the practices end, what's left? Ladies and gentlemen, it's hard stepping back into this thing. And for my stepson coming at the end of his high school career, he's going to start his career going into the military. It's hard for me to imagine myself coaching forever. And it's almost like, how do I keep this thing going? Should I keep this thing going? What motivation do I still have? And it's not that, there's no love here. I love drill. Like I said, this is my sport. The Nationals is my Super Bowl. That's what I look forward to every year. But for some of us, for however many years young we are, because this episode you'll learn that we don't say how old we are. We say how many years young. But that there comes a time to where maybe that it's time to hang the hat. But drill is something that will stay with you forever. I didn't think I'd be as still in love with this thing as I was, and I very much still am. But everybody, like I said before, there is a life outside the weapon. There is a life outside the pad. It's how you use your time and the lessons you've learned to be able to conquer everything else that's in front of you from there on. And everybody, the guest I have today has lived everything. The family, the mentorship, the legacy, the grind, and now. Like I've mentioned before, she is a 5-time national champion coach with both the Clark Silver Valor and the Brandeis Blue Aces. Like I said, she's going to say years old, people, but it's how young she is, so nobody go back and bug her about it. Everybody, I want you to please give her your most undivided attention. Everybody, please welcome Coach Erica Jimenez. Erica, can you give everybody a little spiel about yourself? That way they know who you are and why they think they should listen to what you have to say.
Well, hey, y'all. I don't know if y'all know me. Hello. If you don't, my name is Erica Jimenez. I've been coaching for, at least 15 years, maybe around that area. Coach statewide and also locally. And I kind of know a thing or two about the drill community as far as unarmed and armed wise goes. So
we've done this a time or two, right?
I've been around the block a little bit.
Erica, what makes you so special to me, why I wanted to bring you out here, is because we come from the same tree. We both went to Clark, the Silver Valor, Centurion Guard. We know all that there is about the competition world and drill, and I want people to know that they're not lying when I talk about the instructors and everything. But what did you think of your history when you were with Clark and the Silver Valor, the instructors, the coaches, everything?
Man, so I was on Silver Valor. I don't know if y'all know, but I was on Silver Valor. We started Silver Valor in 2004, and that's when I was a freshman. I know, don't count the years. And I graduated in 2008, so I did drill team all 4 years. So the The instructors I had back then were Major Shackelford, Sergeant Ted Lee, God rest his soul, and Senior Master Sergeant Reese. And they are probably the most influential people I have in my life to this day, especially with Sergeant Reese. He is my father. That man has raised me. So, and I can speak for everybody that was under Sergeant Reese's realm, whether you went to Jay or whether you went to Clark, because I don't know if you know, but he came from Jay to start Clark. But I have no words for that man. That man is pretty much my father, and
He's a legend. He's a drill
he
legend.
he's in the Hall of Fame. So is Sergeant Madden, and Sergeant Madden again. I have to thank him for my upbringing as well. You know, those three men that they raised me to the woman I am today, and I can't thank them enough.
I can't think of a better foundation to where
Right.
this thing started, because your high school starts with the instructors that you have, and
Correct.
I think we were just so blessed to have somebody of our three instructors and their calibers, because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, it's hard to describe what Senior Master Sergeant Reese did for not just the ROTC, but for the drill teams back in the day, and the legacy left behind, and how much everything that they left have just given us that kind of impression.
Right.
And I guess that kind of bleeds into the first question that I wanted to ask you. And before you became such a successful unarmed coach, because like I said, I'm plastering out there, a 5-time national coach, not including any other titles, but before you became so successful, I mean, where did it all start? Like, who believed in you first, and how did that shape you to become the coach you eventually became?
I'd have to say Sergeant Reese. He brought me out of my shell basically in freshman year, and kind of forced us to be in ROTC by basically gunpoint, because if y'all all know, Sergeant Reese will get his numbers regardless, one way or another. But yeah, I would have to say Sergeant Reese would be my first mentor ever. He shaped and impacted so many people, not just myself, from when he started at Clark to where, I have people that went to Jay that knew him as their instructor. And till this day, this man has still been the same as well. I can speak for the both of us now, since you were under Sergeant Reese's realm as well, which is really, really exciting. I can talk about this man forever, because he has shaped not his coaching in general wasn't just coaching, it was parenting. He just meshed well with so many people, and he made me into the person I am today and the coach that I was. I can still hear his voices in my head, and about certain things, and
That's
his
first place, baby.
yeah, and his like idioms and like ideas, like his idioms, like his like little phrases, like San Antonio. Like I still say that to this day, and it's so funny because like I wouldn't have expected anybody else. I mean, when Sergeant Reese started at Clark, Juan just graduated from Jay. So I got to have both of them since 2004. I've been with them since then, So one of my greatest mentors, the one that believed in me first was Sergeant Reese, and then I met Juan shortly after. So I'm very blessed to have both of them at the same year and the same time.
Yeah, no, the both of them together were such a powerhouse.
It was a dynamic duo. Like
yes,
I can't.
yes.
So
I
good.
mean, there are the big three in the Spurs, and then there's Sergeant Reese and Juan.
Right.
Like,
thank you. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, they are together. They were unstoppable.
I'm like, how do I top that as a coach? Like, that's crazy.
And we try, right? And
we
try, and we try, because I build my relationship with my instructors at Sotomayor, and
right.
And I think back to how Sergeant Reese was with Juan, and I'm just like, man, like, how can I have that?
I think the only time that I felt like that as like an actual coach myself, other than like, being Juan as assistant coach, and we'll get into that later, but Rodney McDaniel, Senior Master Sergeant McDaniel, right after he took over for Sergeant Reese, we were probably like that. And then also the instructor that I just left, which was Senior Master Sergeant Perez from Brandeis, we were like that too, two peas in a pod. So I get it 100% on how, like, if you find that match, like you want to stay with it. Like it's insane. It's crazy. I'm blessed to have that with those two instructors.
That's so awesome. And I'm glad you brought up Juan. So,
yes.
I mean, I know Juan has more than likely helped you shape your style of coaching, but looking back now, what was the greatest lesson that he had taught you, and that you still carry with you every day and every practice?
So Juan's philosophy on drill is it could be in a book in a library because the way he coaches is it's so like Sergeant Reese, but a little bit of a spin to it, kind of a little bit of I don't want to say femininity, but I did learn my femininity coaching style from Juan. He always said that, yeah, drill is awesome, is great and all, but it's only a tool to get through your 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like life is way bigger than drill and drill will help you get through your life 100% as far as, being a better human. It teaches you respect and discipline and time management skills and all of these things. I've always until I set foot in my last drill pad, which was in May, I've always said, I'm not here to teach you drill. I'm here to teach you how to be a better human. And I carry that long. I've been carrying that for years, ever since Juan retired from coaching. So yeah, to be a better human, he's always taught me, yeah, you're a coach, but you need to be a mentor. You need to be there for them to coaching young adults because this world's crazy, They need people to look up to.
Yes, that's everything that I breed to the kids at Sotomayor. It's like, yeah, it's Mr. Edward. We're here coaching drill and all that, but my goal isn't just to make them drillers. I want to make them better individuals,
Or, yeah.
better people for the community. And I
hmm
just went through my first full like day one kids to they graduated, and it was
Oh,
it was
so awesome.
it was so emotional. Like I didn't think
hmm
I'd get so choked up because I mean I went through the military and the Marine Corps, and it kind of gave me this thick skin, and being machismo myself, I don't want to
Right.
be I don't want them to see my emotions. And
I can tell you that. Yeah, I cried for the first time for the Aces, and they think I'm made out of glass. And I cried for the first time for my Aces last year when they won runner up, I think. And I had to like step away because I was like, oof, oof, oh. And they're like, oh, you cry, and I'm like, yes, girl, I do cry. But yeah, no, I
like
have to. I get it.
you have so the boys went to nationals and the unarmed team went to
hmm
nationals, and we're going through a rebuild year now, and
Nice.
it's these same kids. I had out of 14 cadets, 7 of them were seniors, and so since day one till nationals, we've been building up to this thing, and we placed third overall at nationals, and I was through the roof, but we dropped like 5 seconds before we presented out, and
No.
my heart and my stomach, I felt sick. And so we're going through the awards ceremony, and I'm just there sitting in anxiety, and fifth place gets called, fifth, fourth, third, second, and I'm looking at them all. I'm like, hey guys, I was like, y'all did a great job. I was already
hmm
telling them like, hey, pick your heads up. Then they call first place unarmed X Sonia Sotomayor, and I scream, and
Oh yeah,
I scream, I jump out of my chair.
it's insane.
And
It's a good feeling.
yeah, and like, well, what was crazy is that I blacked out for kind of a split second.
Yeah, out of body experience.
It was so crazy, and that people need to understand that are coaching now, or that maybe potentially want to coach now that they're a post high school grad, that it's a responsibility. You're not just doing this for yourself or for the drill community. You're doing this for the kids and making them into just better people.
No, no, I get it. Like Juan instilled so much discipline in the way we did things, and I know we'll get into that later. But it molded us to the people that we are, to like the women. Literally, like he did, and I carried that on until I carried that on with Spartan Valor when I coached that one in 2015, and we won nationals the same year with all freshmen.
Wow.
We won challenge. And so when you said that out of body experience where you're screaming and you're crying, I have a picture of me actually crying when they announced first place. I brought a JV team. So Sergeant Reese back in the day did not didn't really care for like JV teams. He just wanted to go into masters, which understandably. But I forced him. I was like, you know what, JV is pretty good. I'm like, I should probably try them out for challenge level, which was Division 2 back then. And yeah, he entered them and they won their first year going. And that's how I started my drill career. That's crazy, right? And it's crazy. It's an insane feeling.
And I tell the boys all the time, like, this isn't about me. I was like, this is all about you. This is your
Yeah,
thing. Like, this is everything that you've built. I'm just the guy who set you up for it. And
correct.
coming from Clark, and Clark will always and forever be the home of the Silver Valor and the Centurion Guard, but Clark has been such a big name and such a big title for God knows how long.
Hmm.
And if you had to choose one thing that mattered to you the most from those years that you've learned that matters more than just talent, what would that be?
Family, legacy. When we started Silver Valor, I was just a little runt. It was my freshman year, I had all the big names in there. And I was terrified of them, absolutely terrified of the seniors that were on there. And, my commander back then, she was a 2-year commander, the first 2-year commander, because she was obviously the first commander. And she was absolutely terrifying. And I remember her name, and I will remember her name forever. And I just wanted to be liked by them. And as I started sophomore year, junior year, and then in my actual senior year, I still talk to those people till this day. And Juan was a big, big reason for that. We used to throw a legacy ball where we invited all past and present and future and current Silver Valor members. And we had a ball, I think it was 2018. I think we're going to do it every 10 years. And I've stood at people's weddings. I've been at people's baby showers. I still talk to my family to this day, my Silver Valor family. And I will forever have those people so close to me. And I can name 100 of them right now. And I think besides talent, put talent aside. Yes, back, we were pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But it was the family that Juan created and the legacy. Like, he gave me my sisters for the rest of my life. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So yes, I would have to say family and legacy.
That is so beautiful, because it's when you stick around for so long and you build this thing, just with your team yourself, you have so many people that are coming in and out, and then you leave, and then to be able to still be able to connect with the legacies of what the Silver Valor is, that's so beautiful. I think that is so great. And from Silver Valor and the Blue Aces, we both know championship teams aren't built during a competition season. They're built long before that. What did a normal practice look like when you were setting that standard?
Juan was very strict. I don't know if you remember how strict he was, but he was very strict on what we wore and what we practiced, what times we practiced, how many days we practiced. It was so strict. So when he left and he retired and I took over, he left me with all of the rules. And so I obviously abided by them. We practiced 6 days a week at Clark, because I retired from coaching from Clark in 2020 when COVID hit, unfortunately. So I had to, there were no teams left, if that makes sense. So I cut my year at Clark short, or my coaching short anyway. So at Clark, when I had my first commander, we did 6 days a week. If the kids had an off day, we would practice that day. Spring break, we would practice during spring break. Summer, we'll practice during summer. It was strict 6 days a week. If it was after school, it would be 4:30 to 6:30. And then Fridays would be, obviously the same thing. Before performances, the Fridays before performances, we would do a strict one and dones. We will go through every single phase and then get ready for the next day. Saturday practices, immediate Saturday practices, was 4 hours long, 8 to 12. In those practices, we would know what we wore. We all have to match, what kind of uniform it is, whether it's practice uniform or if it's they're one of their uniform day practices. Everybody was the same and uniformed. And then also what we practiced that day. So it was basically by phases. If we needed more time on inspection, we would have more days on inspection. If we needed time for regulation, we would have more time for regulation, and so on and so forth. If we were changing an exhibition, we would have a whole day of exhibition just to change it, and then we would carry on with the next practice schedule. The commanders and the element leaders in the leadership team got together every single day, every single week, and wrote out a practice schedule, a uniform schedule, to make sure that we were on time. Starting there with strong practices, it helped throughout the entire year, because from being competitive, for being a cadet and then coach, you know how intense the meets go on throughout the year. So starting that at Brandeis in 2009, that's when Brandeis opened, by the way. So I started at Brandeis in 2009. We'll go through that later. That's all. Don't count the years, people. Like I'm up there in age, okay? Yeah. So I when Juan taught me that in Clark, I brought it to Brandeis, and when Brandeis opened, and that's when I worked with Ken Madden, Senior Master Sergeant Ken Madden, and Major Antiquera, which I love them both dearly. But yeah, I started at Brandeis, and then from then, it continued at Brandeis, and I didn't have to do anything when I went back to Brandeis, and I'll go back on that later. But yeah, so it was very strict. We kept a very tight leash on those practices, and hopefully it helped them get through their college years and their high school years and time management stuff. That's how you started.
For sure. And obviously you've had multiple instructors that you've been super fortunate to work with that understand and know just the kind of amount of effort it takes to get a drill team up and going to get them at a national competitive level ready. What would you say to those instructors that maybe that are starting out in this thing, that maybe they don't necessarily have that veteran master sergeant that's done this for a while, that's built a team before? What would you say to those instructors that maybe are starting at zero? What would you say to them that way they have some insight on, hey, if this is what you want, this is what I need to make the team successful? How would that conversation go if you're having it with that instructor?
So I have this conversation every single year at every single drill meet that I either score or coach. So this conversation that's brought up quite a bit. So how I would tell them, it is a lot of time. It's you have to sacrifice a lot of time. I know that most of these instructors are married and they have children, and I get it. But the amount of time and effort and just all the sacrifices that these instructors have to make to get to the national level will have to be times 10. Like, you have to be strict with them at the very beginning, kind of grab them by the reins a little bit and kind of reel them in, and then also like to be patient, because drill team is not for the weak and it's not learned overnight.
All
And
right.
yeah, it's really not. Like, from coming from a brand new school, like, they don't even know what's going on. Luckily, your instructors have drill experience, so thank God. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to go to a school here in Dallas to go and teach them X because they have no idea what an X is. It's understandable. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help. But yeah, to take your time and to be ready to have those sacrifices. If you want a national team, it's not practicing 2 days a week. It's not an hour a day. It's time. And Sergeant Reese, again, I have to give credit where it's credit's due. Sergeant Reese and Sergeant Madden and Senior Master Sergeant Henry from John Jay, they understood that aspect of it, and look at their teams. Brandeis, John Jay Silver Eagles, Silver Valor, they understood the championship mentality. That's what I like to call it, championship mentality. It's not just a little toe in the water. You have to jump full in if you want to be in there. And your kids will give you the exact same. You sacrifice for them, and then they will sacrifice for you.
Exactly. And so from instructors and to you coaching, right? There are times when the more tougher Erica needs to come out and she has to get onto somebody, because I know I do. And
Mhm.
I mean, not every cadet is motivated the same way. And how did you learn the difference when somebody needed maybe to be challenged a little more versus when they needed to be encouraged? Because for me, this was a hard lesson for me to learn this last year, because I had a senior who he was with the team all 3 years, and he really opened my eyes, because he needed to learn in a different way, and he could pick it up, but it took him just a little bit longer, and he was one of those guys where I had to practice my patience, and I had to really step back and be like, Ed, like, you're not coaching, you're not teaching. I was like, you're just telling him to do it. Like, reset, take a step back, and dissect it for him so he understands. So for yourself, how would you be able to tell what that is versus when someone needs to be challenged versus needing a little bit more encouragement?
So I like to start off the year, obviously, by saying all of my credentials, right? And I also like to ask them if they're a visual learner or a hands-on learner. So I mean, obviously, I can show you and you can do something, right? Or if you want to do it with me. So how I actually love this question, because it never fails every year that we have those cadets that needed just a little bit more push. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the most patient person in the world, but when it comes to the children, like, I have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, like your adult and your coach have to be separate, and you're like, okay, hold on, slow down, Erica. Like, that's enough. So I always ask them if they're hands-on or visual learners. Yeah, I don't single them out, but I tell my leadership, like the element leader. When I say leadership, obviously it's like commanders, deputy commander, leadership, color guard commander. I put that into leadership. So when I ask the leadership, I'm like, hey, just watch out for so and so, because she's a little slow at learning, because they can be like, the veterans, you know how the veterans are. They're like, okay, why aren't you picking this up? I'm like, you were just like that. Don't start. Patience. I ask them, I'm like, pause. Are you a visual or a hands-on learner? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, okay, flip the script. And then I'll go ahead and go and abide by how they learn. The one thing that I learned at Brandeis, and I've coached in every generation of high schooler. That's how old I am. Again, don't question it.
You can start saying that's how young you are.
That's a caption on this podcast. But yeah, don't look at the years. But I've coached in every generation of high schooler, since I graduated myself. And by far, this generation is probably the most interesting generation. And I had to slow down and not be so harsh. And I noticed that this year, I gave more praise in the little things, like learning an exhibition move, or like learning a color guard move, or even trying out for color guard, or learning a face, or doing a uniform correctly. Little things like that to people that need the little bit more push helped tremendously with their self-confidence. And I saw it and I took and ran with it. So now every time I work with the school, whether it's scoring or whether it's coaching, giving little praises like that to these kids, cadets nowadays, gives them so much encouragement. Also doing it publicly, announcing it to the team, to the veterans, to the people that come back post-grad, to the people that think that they're high and mighty, you know what I'm saying? And giving this little baby freshman a praise on learning a face, I had people cry. Like I've had people like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, and just seeing their faces just made my job even easier. Like it was just, now with that self-confidence, they can do whatever they can. They can do whatever they want. And that's how I did it. That's how I got through those tough cadets. Even if they give me attitude back, I would just be like, hey, well, either you're here or not, but I'm not going to change the way I am, and I show them a little bit of tough love, but not too harsh, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so that's how I do it.
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, right, we're going through a rebuild, and all of my seniors left. So all I have, I think right now, I have like 5 seniors right now. And yeah, so it's a huge rebuild we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's horrible. And yeah, so I
not
have
impossible.
Now, no, it's not. But it's like we talked, right? It's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort that needs to come into play. And there's these cadets who saw me from the unarmed team, and they're moving up, and I have a few females and a couple males, and they see how I reacted from last year. And they're seeing me over the summer, and we've practiced here and there, and we kind of joke around, stuff like that, and like my commander, his name's Sean. He tells them when I'm not looking or when I'm not listening. He's like, don't think. He tells them, he's like, don't think Mr. Edwards your friend here.
That's what they say all the time.
Yeah. He's like, this is summertime, Mr. Edward. He's like, he will not treat you the same way when school starts. So manage your expectations, get it real now, because once the year starts, he told me, sometimes I think his goal is to hurt your feelings.
Right. So yeah, no, there's horror stories, to be honest. So if you can ask the Aces just this past year, the Aces, my commander, Emma, love her. She would always say, uh-oh, Miss Erica's coming. Like, let me tell Miss Erica. I'm like, what? Tell me what? And then they would all be very, very scared. Like, they will talk to the cadets, incoming cadets, before I would even say my name, and they won't even look me in the eye. Like, it's that, but I don't know if it's respect or like you just don't want me to turn you into stone. But I don't bite. I actually have a heart in here somewhere, but I'm just highly competitive. So that side will come out of me regardless of what it is. I don't mean to be harsh, but there are some stories where I'll get mad or I'll stop talking and I'll just give them the look, and they know, like they know, like, okay.
That's why I tell the team, I'm like, look, I was like, you got to understand. I was like, yes, because I've mentioned it before. I don't treat my team like a drill team. I treat them like a football team sometimes, and
yeah,
and I'm just like, look, like you are not like everybody else.
Right.
I was like, let them walk around however they want. Let them goof off, all that. I was like, you're here to work.
And we get that from where we got brought up, Sergeant Reese. Like, I blame him. I will blame him for me being harsh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not in a bad way. But I grew up with tough love. So did you. And I ran with it. And and all the high profile teams, especially being on a high profile team, like you cannot like. Going into like say for instance, like Clark and Brandeis always had this kind of like rivalry, like maybe it was like friendly rivalry, yeah. Mm-hmm. So me switching over from Clark to Brandeis, oh my goodness, like I couldn't even tell you. I know, how dare you, stab back. but I didn't let my guard down from switching from Clark to Brandeis because I knew I was moving over to a high profile team. Like from one high profile team to another, my gosh, my coaching was like strictly the same. Like if you wanted to be scared of me, awesome. I'm not here to make friends, right? You're not my friend. I am your coach. I am your mentor. I want to tell you how you're going to succeed and you're going to do it. And that's exactly what happened. And then I'll show my little good side here and now. Give again, little praises like that. When Miss Erica gives you a little praise, like you're going to take it and run for it. Like I've had people cry. I've had people like, oh my God, thank you so much for changing my life. You're welcome. It's because of tough love.
Exactly. Exactly. And so from coaching and after all the competitions that you've won, because like I said, I've only touched the big 5 that you have
Right.
under your belt, not including the other ones. But after all the competitions you've won, has your definition of success changed? And what does success look like to you today?
So this was actually a really good question, by the way. I mean, congratulations on that one. That one's actually pretty good. I had to read it like 4 times. I would have to say it has not changed because whatever I preach, I practice. And I thought about this question a lot, and for me, it hasn't changed. It actually pushed me to go further in my career, in my business. It's definitely made me stick out in the crowd, if you will. When I tell other people what I did, in my 20s and my early 30s, success in my life right now is being healthy and to be able to look back and have all these stories for the rest of my life. I coached female drill teams nationally. And also I coached unarmed drill for states all over the United States, and I've helped so many kids. And I think just in that in general, just to travel, even getting out of San Antonio, which San Antonio is the most competitive state or the most competitive city you can coach in, by the way.
Yes.
So
Oh, yes.
props to all of us San Antonio coaches, because oh my gosh, like if you go anywhere else, it's not like this. It really, I've coached in New Mexico. I've coached in Chicago. I've coached in California. I've coached everywhere. And Texas is by far the most competitive. But to say that I've done all of that and then to move on into my career and, in my adulthood, I'm not going to say my age, in my adulthood, okay? That's success in itself. Like I practice what I preach, and I use my tools that I taught for so many years and so many thousands of cadets that I've coached and taught. I don't think it has changed for me, to be honest. I think I've just used what I taught.
Amen, sister.
All the tools. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? Like it's kind of hard to put into words. Like I'm very much a word vomit person. Like it's all going to be up here. That's why I wrote down some notes. But yeah, I think I've coached so many cadets in different branches of military. And that right there is success. Like right now I'm happy. I can say that I've lived a successful life because I've touched and I've taught and I've mentored so many cadets. That's right there. It's fine for me. Like I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful. No, I think that's awesome because my biggest thing for this thing is to reach out to those cadets that maybe need to hear from that outside perspective, or they need to hear it because like you said, not everywhere outside of Texas isn't as competitive. So just to be able to talk to some of these drill legends and the coaches with somebody like with your resume, maybe they need to hear that. Maybe that's what they need to peek into. So I think that is so beautiful how you put it, because that's my whole goal, is to be sure that my level of success for this thing isn't just to hear myself talk, because that's the last thing I wanted. That's the last thing I need. But it's to be sure that, to kind of reach out and touch someone, even if it's just a small gesture from this thing that you learn, but just to be able to mentor somebody gives me that warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yes. So I loved it so much and I did it for so long.
Yeah. And so not only do you coach, but you also work with the elite and you help with live virtual scoring at competitions. And I want to know, since you have a peek inside of that, right? What's something that coaches and competitors misunderstand about how performances are evaluated?
Yeah, that's tough. Because, again, not only if we're in the most competitive city as coaches, we're also in the most competitive city for instructors. These instructors, especially Northside, I'm going to shout out Northside for a little bit. Northside is probably the most competitive district I've ever worked for. And that goes with the instructors as well. I have special relationships with these instructors in Northside because of what's going on, like with the scoring. It's insane. Anyway, back to your question. I don't know if anybody knows this, but myself and a 15-time national Silver Eagle coach, retired, Ruben Medell, started
Shout out
Elite.
Ruben.
Shout out Ruben. Love him down. We started Elite in 2015. The whole goal was supposed to be, how can we make this better for the children? How can we make this better for the cadets? Since we went through it, right? We did paper scoring back in the day, right? Pen paper, pencil
Right.
paper. And that always wasn't so, like, it's a lot of human error. We're not perfect as humans. We're not. So the whole main reason is for it to turn into virtual scoring or to electronic scoring, if you will. That's what we like to call it. And the most the most misunderstanding when it comes to switching from paper to scoring is, one, the instructors are going to do are old school. Most instructors are old school. They've been around the block a couple times.
Right.
And they want to see actual visibility. Visibility is probably one of the biggest misunderstood things. When you use our system, not only it's live, right? Like it comes in live. Even if we were
love
to,
it.
thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, even if we try to change it in any way, we can't catch it that fast enough. And Ruben is the reason why it is the way it is. And it's about its visibility, and it's just a constant battle. Like even like when the team steps off the platform, when a team steps off the drill deck, you immediately get your score sheets. Like there's no paper running around. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. All we need is a good Wi-Fi and a good cell phone service, and you are in. Like it has been a crazy turn of events these past 10 years. And just now on our 10th year, this is, I think, our 10th year this is going to be our 11th year open in September. And just switching them from paper to electronic, it just now clicked like, oh, this is actually better. And now when I go to meets with the kids and not scoring, they're like, oh, are you scoring today? I'm like, no, I'm not. So I'm actually not. So Ruben Medell is the reason why we have electronic scoring in South Texas. And it's been a crazy, crazy journey. I just now in the Dallas area, Mansfield, Irvine, Irvine, Texas, all those smaller schools up there are now getting and paying for visibility for electronic scoring. And I'm just gonna, it's insane. It really is. And to have two coaches that did it prior cadets. So we were cadets and now we're coaches, retired coaches. And now we do electronic scoring. Like who do you want to trust? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
We've been through it.
Yeah. Hey, sir, instructor. Hey, we know what we're doing. All right. Just take a seat. Let us do this thing.
And Ruben is by far the most credentialed person I've ever seen in the world of drill. Like he's a legend, legit a legend. So, and I say, oh, Ruben Medell created it. And they're like, oh, we want paper. And like, how do you not want what he created? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy, but I love every single instructor. If the instructors are hearing you, I love you, but let's continue on with this electronic scoring, please.
It's
for the children.
It's time to step into the future.
Let's do that. It's 2026. I love what I do, but come on, guys. It's for the kids. It's for the kids.
Exactly. And now that, like we kind of talked about a little bit, I know that coaching is kind of slowing down and we're sort of stepping away from it. And that is never easy. What has life taught you since you're stepping away from the activity that you wish you had known while you were still coaching?
I didn't think about myself a lot. I was very about the kids. I was very much like last summer, this time, I was preparing for my next year. I was trying to end the year I had at nationals, and then in June I was already writing practice schedules or already trying to change the exhibitions, or mine was always racing. And on top of that, I was doing scoring, so I would end my scoring and my coaching year at the same time, and then give me a little refresh in the summer, and then I'll start again in July. You know what I'm saying? Like it never gave me a time to slow down. And then now I don't know if everybody knows this, but I announced my actual retirement, because I thought I retired in 2020, but then Senior Master Sergeant Perez, thank you, shout out to you, he brought me out of retirement to coach Brandeis with him. But I never thought about myself and to slow down. Now I don't know how to fill my Saturdays. That's the craziest feeling ever in the world. It's crazy. It really, I talked to Juan, I'll talk to Lydia Carroll, which is also a former coach, and Ruben, and I'm like, what did y'all do with y'all's time? And they're like, we have no idea. Like it just kind of went there. But to slow down and think about what I wanted and my physical being, and because I'm not a spring chicken, and I'm stepping away from coaching full time, but I'm also open to consults. So if a little team one here and there wants to, have me look at something, I'm never going to say no. Never going to say no, ever, ever. But I think coaching is always going to be a part of me, whether it's full time, part time, half time, whatever. But I just got to think about myself just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely find myself questioning. So my stepson, he graduates this year, so he's a senior, and I know
Yeah.
it's such an emotional
What
roller
school?
coaster. 'Cause he's at Sotomayor.
That's
Yeah, he's at
so cool.
yes, he's at Sotomayor. So it's been such a rewarding experience doing this with him and watching him grow into the man that he is now and all the plans he has for the future coming up.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
I question myself now because now it's like, well, do I continue this thing? Like, do I, like, my incentive for being there is kind of gone. Do I
Hmm.
still want to coach? And
Yeah.
I have parents and have other cadets and they're like, oh, Mr. Edward, what about me? What about me? I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm like, but what about me?
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I understand the question of, well, now what do I do? And that's kind of what I'm scared of too, because I don't know. Because my wife tells me she's like you're gonna go back. She's like you're not you're not gonna be happy just being here for from 4 to 6 doing nothing when there's a team out there that needs help. And I'm like,
You
damn it,
know,
girl. I'm like, you're right.
you're right. Yeah, no, that's how I feel, to be honest. And when I retired from Clark in 2020, I was like, okay, a couple years. I was kind of riding solo, to be honest. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm too old for coaching. I think I'm gonna stop. I think I'm gonna. And then we started doing the scoring business got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we started doing more than military events. We started doing a lot more. And I was just like, you know what? Okay. And then here comes Senior Master Perez, because I know he's going to be listening to this. And he kind of scooped me up at one of the drill meets I was scoring. And I never looked back. And here I am 3 years later, retiring from Brandeis again. It's been a long journey for me, and I'm like, it's to be pulled out of retirement twice. I'm pretty good at coaching, pretty good at my job. Not gonna lie, but yeah, it's time. My business is the business is growing bigger and bigger, and I'm having to put more time, because when I was scoring, I didn't coach because bias.
Hmm.
I didn't want to be affiliated. I didn't wear anything Brandeis. I wasn't around Brandeis. I was
Right.
strictly working. I was strictly either scoring, and then if I was coaching, I'd have Brandeis stuff on. I would be with my Brandeis people. But yeah, it was very hard to separate that. So I was like, you know what? To be fair for the children, again, I'm going to either do one or the other. And I'm tired. It
Yeah.
is physically, mentally, emotionally tiresome. Like, it's so exhausting, especially at my ripe age. I'm gonna keep saying it, by the way. It gets harder and harder, to be honest. Let's just say that. But juggling my full time job, the business, and also full time coaching, it was a lot. So I was like, you know what? It's time to hang up my coach shoes, unfortunately. But again, I'm going to accept consults here and there, and I'm also going to be scoring as well. So I'm not leaving the actual drill world anytime soon.
That's great. I don't
Hmm.
think the world drill community can survive without Erica Jimenez. So it's gonna keep you around for some time. And
That's what they told me at nationals when I told them it's my last one. They're like, "No," I'm like, You'll be fine. You'll be fine."
sorry, yeah, so don't worry, I'm still here, but just not full time capacity and unfortunately it's out.
Yeah, I
But
know. I'm sorry, y'all.
yeah, and it is what it is. So I want to go to my last question here.
Mhm.
Years from now, when one or maybe more of your former cadets become coaches themselves, what do you hope they carry forward because of what they learned from you?
Hope that they continue on with the kind of my motto is, it's just drill. I know that it's a lot to say on a drill podcast, right? You're like, it's just drill, it's life. Like, I get it. I get the life thing. I get it. However, we have to be open-minded when it comes to stuff like this, to insert your mentorship and to be a part of a young adult's life, that looks up to you and can learn things from you, right? You want to be a pillar and to help them with life in general. So I say just drill, not that because I love drill. I really do love drill, but I didn't do it for the drill. I did it to build better humans, and I'm going to keep saying it until the day I die. I cannot tell you the feeling I had when I still talk to my kids. They got accepted into college. They did a full ride scholarship. They're in the military. They're doing so well for their life, having babies, getting married. Like I made those humans. I molded them in high school, and I still get, choked up hearing it because those are my kids. My kids grew up and they did so well and they're healthy and they're parents and they're college grads and they're flying fighter jets, whatever they're doing in life. I am just so grateful for that. And for those children, or I can't call them children, they're young adults. For those young adults that I've coached that want to coach people, I want them to understand what it takes to become a coach, what it takes to become a mentor, because they're watching every single thing you're doing, every single thing you're saying, and they take it in because they respect you so much. To give the respect back, okay? You need to give the respect back to the kids. I always tell them that. Even the judges that I coached with our scoring system, I was like, you need to give the kids respect, okay? I get it. Like the whole macho military man, got it. But you need to respect them because they're humans. Point blank period, and I want them to be, it's drill. And, we learn this and it's discipline, it's respect and blah. And we got to do faces correctly by regulation. I get it. Right. But we're all people. We're all humans and you need to treat them like a human. You cannot just jump down their throats. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
Right.
I want them to carry on you need to be better humans, period. Build better humans. Done.
Yeah.
I need a t-shirt.
I have expressed that so much, especially on this platform, that there's more to life than just drill. There's more to life that's beyond the weapon, that's beyond the drill pad, and that the whole core of this thing is just being a better person. And I've spoken to Matt Wendling and these other guys with large resumes in the drill world, and it blows my mind when it comes down to when I've spoken to 4 of y'all now. And they all say the same thing, where this is bigger beyond the pad. And
Yes.
and it goes to show, because I don't think that there's many kids that are out there that have the influences like yourself, that are out there not trying to live their best life. And I'm grateful for the coaches like yourself that are bleeding that message, that are relaying that message, that want to see their cadets succeed in every aspect of life. Because just like how I went through my first class recently and I see all their talk about their aspirations and what they're wanting to do in the future and everything else, and it gets me so emotional, and I don't think that can be put any more well said. Erica, I want to thank you so much for giving me your time today to be able to talk to you. I'm so thankful because every single time I'm learning something new, and talking to you has given me an insight more on just being an overall better coach and a better human being, even though we're bled from the same tree at Clark.
We sure are.
I want to thank you wholeheartedly, and I want you to be able to take the reins from me, and if you can please close us out here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And to everybody that's listening, most people will never understand what it takes. The hours, the sacrifices, the bruises, the failures, all for a few minutes on a competition floor. This is a world where perfection isn't expected. It's demanded. A world of intense formations, razor-sharp movements, and exciting beats that gets the crowds tapping their feet. The difference between a winner and a winner practices until they get it right. A champion practices until they get it wrong. And yet, despite the talent and dedication and passion, drill remains one of the most overlooked competitive activities in the nation. That changes here. This is where the stories are told. This is where the legends are remembered. This is where the future of drill is built. I'm Erica Jimenez. Welcome to the Drill Pad, the voice of the drill community, home of the champions.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome.
I was sweating. I was like, oh God, please don't mess this up.
No, get it out there. Let them know. Let them know.
100%. That's so crazy.
Erica, I've had so much fun doing this with you. Do you have any last shout outs, anything you want to throw out there? Anybody you want to give a shout out to, or maybe to Elite?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, my company. No, I mean, shout out to, I know that Sergeant Reese is going to be watching this. Love you, sir. Love you down. I know that you're going to, as soon as I send it to you, you're going to listen to it. Senior Master Sergeant Perez that I just retired with. We retired at the same time. Love you. I love you. Juan Espinoza, you better be next. Okay. And let's not have the only unarmed person here, please. Love you as well. He's one of my best friends to this day. And then also Elite ENT. We are completely rebranding. We will be out in Dallas and in South Texas. Northside, all Northside meets will soon be electronic scoring. Hopefully, cross your fingers. So shout out to Ruben Medell, for those of you that know him. And yeah, I'll see you all on the drill pad, you guys.
Erica, thank you again so much for being here with me. And to everybody else that's out there listening, if you have questions, comments, concerns, if you have questions for the next guy or girl, whether it's armed or unarmed, I want to know them all. Let me ask them. Let's get the word out there. Like I said, reach out to me, email or Instagram, TH3 Drillpad, TH3 Drillpad. Everybody, take care. You're all dismissed.
Thank you, guys.